Hey, Mike, thanks for joining me today. You are one of the very first few members that I've ever had a conversation with that we've recorded to share with other members about reverse mortgage. So I'm greatly appreciative of that. Your situation is far different than most reverse mortgages we've done, and we'll get to that in a minute. I thought maybe you could just take a quick moment and tell us about yourself and your wife, Rain, and why the two of you decided to do a reverse mortgage.
Well, first of all, both Rain and I are retired. We've only been married 2 years, however, been together for
Congratulations.
15 years prior to that. And as far as why we decided to move into this house is that we wanted a house that was our house as opposed to her house or my house. And previously I had moved into Rain's house, and it was on multi-level, so we really wanted to get into a single-level home. And we looked for about a year and a half before we found this house. And actually, we just love it. Both of us do. And we many times have said it's almost like someone had designed this house just for us, and we never knew it. So it's been a good success, and reverse mortgage was very important in attaining that.
Well, the two of you, and kind of going back to your unusual situation and circumstances, you could have easily paid cash for this house, but instead you chose to keep a significant amount of money in your pocket by utilizing the reverse mortgage.
We did, and we did that so that we could maintain our lifestyle, and we like to travel. As long as we can, we want to do that. And the reality was that the reverse mortgage and the elimination of a mortgage payment, we could do it. Taxes and the maintenance and the insurance, of course, still have to be maintained, but that's going to have to be paid at any rate, whether you have a reverse mortgage or whether you have a conventional loan or a GI loan or whatever you might have. So after consultation and talking to both of our financial advisors independently, they both concurred that yes, in our situation and for our goals, that would work for us. And part of the thing too is that we don't have large families, and so we don't have a lot of kids. I've got 2 children and Rain doesn't have any children, and so we're not going to have an estate that's going to have 14,000 people lined up to try to take parts of it. And we want to be able to enjoy things and live our lifestyle too prior to. So that's part of the reason of us doing that. And the reverse mortgages, I say, made it available that we could do that.
I can appreciate that thought process there. I have 2 kids myself, and I've told my kids, look, do not expect an estate to be left for you. If there's something at the end, wonderful, but your mom and I have worked super hard for what we have, and when it's time for us to retire, we want to work on spending down what we've saved. We want to go enjoy life. Like you, we want to travel. I mean, there's so much in the world to see, and it's difficult when you're raising kids and have a full-time job with that, 2 weeks off per year. But when we're done, I want to go enjoy. I think most people are of the sentiment that you are. I know there's still people out there that want to make sure they leave a legacy for their children, and there probably will be something left for our kids, but that's just not my goal. My goal is to go and enjoy.
I always had told my kids, I said, I afforded a good education for both of you. For both of them, they went through the University of California system. My daughter went to Cal. My son had graduated from University of California at Santa Barbara. And so we said, we're going to give you a good education. We're going to give you the tools, and what you decide to do with it, you do yourself. And my son went ahead and went back to school on his nickel this time rather than on mine, and he got his master's from Drexel University back in Pennsylvania. And so both my kids are grown up, and I've got grandkids now, and they're starting to get grown up too. And so all those plans kind of all fit together at that time, and that's kind of where we ended up. But I agree. I think that a lot of people do look at that, and you understand what I'm talking about too, because that's what you and your wife are talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Before you had the opportunity to speak to anybody about reverse mortgage, and when I am referring to anybody, I'm referring to a professional in the reverse mortgage industry, did you have concerns?
Number one, I didn't really know much about reverse mortgages, and my assumption was that a reverse mortgage was left for if you ran out of dollars and you were right against the wall and you needed to generate some cash to be able to live on. It was the last thing that you could do to go ahead and mortgage your home and get money up front for it if you needed it to live. Obviously, that was wrong. First mortgages are totally different today than maybe they were like that at one time. I don't know. Again, as I say, I don't know that much about it. reverse mortgages in the history. But we found that it worked very well with our plans and what we wanted to do. And it was totally different with the idea of having the HUD, the insurance that guarantees the payout on the house, and that if things did go upside down, which I do not anticipate, and we don't anticipate in our home here.
We don't anticipate that. We'd have bigger problems if that happens, Mike. Fingers crossed, okay?
That's true. We definitely would. But, the thing is, with that safety net there, it changes the whole complexion of what reverse mortgages are, or at least the way I had thought they were. So it was as far as any preconceived ideas, it was totally the word I'm looking for. Found out that I was unfounded in those concerns.
Was there a specific moment where a light bulb went off for the two of you that makes you think reverse mortgage would have been a perfect fit at that time during the purchase process?
It was, and we had never really considered the idea. And when we were looking at financing for the house, we had talked with Redwood Credit Union. Sheila is the one who said, perhaps you should consider this and think about it. And we said, okay, what is this? So then the more we found out about it, and again, the real aha moment was when both of our financial advisors, without talking and completely independent of each other and with no communication between those two people, just with Rain and I, both of them were in concurrence. Yes, it was a good move. So that was really the aha moment. We said, it's a no-brainer. Let's go for it.
Is there a downside to the reverse mortgage that you can think of or that you've seen in your almost 2 years of having a reverse mortgage?
No. As I mentioned to you, I've gotten a lot of information, well, not information, but I've got a lot of mailings that have come recently about the fact that with reverse mortgage rates changing, and that perhaps we could go ahead and generate some more income if we refinanced the reverse mortgage. Well, that's not going to work in our case because we don't really need to take any money out of it, and it's kind of to spend the money to redo it. And after talking to you, you said a lot of these were fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And I also had asked my accountant about them too. He said the same thing too. He said, no, it makes no sense to do it.
How did you find the experience of working with Alliance Reverse Mortgage? And you can be honest here. We appreciate all feedback.
It was a positive experience all the way around, Ron. And as you know, you were up against the wire because we had a closure date that was bouncing around, and we were working around a holiday at the same time. But so you were your back was to the wall, and you did it. What else can I say? You made it happen.
That's what we do here. It is about providing a really high level of member service, trying to go above and beyond. I don't think your real estate agent would agree with that, Mike, but ultimately...
Well, I think she was okay with it. It was this moving target that just kept moving. I know, but we worked through it. And as I say, you got the numbers at the last minute. So the bottom line is it was there.
I think one of the important things when you're doing a reverse for purchase, you can't just go to someone who's never done a reverse for purchase before. It's a different animal than traditional reverse mortgage. So I think for those viewers that might be watching and thinking about doing a purchase, please make sure that you're dealing with an organization that is vastly familiar with reverse for purchase.
And I would have not known a difference there, quite frankly. I always thought the reverse mortgage was a reverse mortgage, but there's a difference of reverse for purchase.
There's a little bit of a difference. There's some little innuendos that you have to be familiar with. What would you say to others that are considering getting a reverse mortgage but might be uncertain?
Talk to your financial advisor. See if it works for you, because each person's financial situation is unique, and it's unique to themselves and to their family and to their situation. So I think that talk to a person who knows what they're talking about that's independent of the mortgage company and with your financial advisor, and get some good advice and listen to them, what they say.
I think that's some good advice. Absolutely. Looking back at your decision for the reverse mortgage, does it ever pop in mind and you think, wow, this is nice, or is it just kind of a loan that's there?
Our experience has been that with the reverse mortgages, it's allowed us to live our life the way we want to live it. And we're able to travel, unable to travel with COVID, but so after that, we were kind of pent up. And so this last year, I actually had a trip to New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
And a trip to France, so in the spring and the fall. So there you are.
Good for you guys. Is there anything that you want to share? I know people are skeptical about reverse mortgage, and I know there's still organizations out there that probably don't provide the highest level of service or the lowest rates and the lowest fees. Is there anything you want to share with others that might be watching and considering getting a reverse mortgage, whether a reverse for purchase or just a standard reverse mortgage?
Well, the main thing, as I say, is each situation is unique, and talk to your financial advisors and find out whether it's right for you. We were in a situation that we didn't want to be house poor and be strapped with a mortgage and taxes and maintenance. And unfortunately, the real estate market in our town here has gone sky high. And so it's hard to get into a home with just generating your own funds. And so this is a new tool to us, and it was a good tool. And I'm forever grateful for everything that you've done and what Alliance did for us in putting this together for us. It worked well for us. But the biggest thing that I would suggest is make sure you talk to your financial people and your advisor.
Is there anything that comes to your mind that you want to share with people as well?
Talk to Ron.
Okay.
Talk to you. You did the job for us. Is it strictly in California, or do you have clients out of state too?
We currently only work with California credit unions.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking to expand that. We'll see what the future holds for that. I don't get to personally work with a whole lot of members. I mean, you two came to me because Sheila O'Neill picked the phone up and said, "Ron, can you help these folks?"
Yeah, and I know that there was some time that you were burning the midnight oil, I'm sure, trying to get this. I was amazed at how much paperwork was involved in a reverse mortgage. I mean, the application, I think I counted, was over 100 pages.
We try to keep it simple. It definitely becomes more complicated when we're requiring tax returns or there's a reverse for purchase taking place. And at the same time, we have a simultaneous close of your primary residence. So there was definitely a lot of cogs in that wheel moving to make all of this happen in a timely manner. So where are the two of you traveling to next?
Well, the next thing will be, every year we go back to the East Coast. And then we were to the East Coast over the Christmas holidays too, because we have friends back in Connecticut and in Rhode Island. And we always go in the spring, to Nantucket with them. So that's the next trip we've got planned. Overseas, I don't know. We haven't really talked about what the next place would be, but I suspect go back to Europe was a good chance of that. My wife likes cool weather. She does not do hot weather, so that does make a little difference as far as what kind of travels we do.
Right. And what season?
Yes.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing the Meals on Wheels deliveries. I think that's super important. We need more people like you that can help to support our senior community. And like you and I were talking about earlier, this could be that person's only interaction with another person today.
Yes, it does. I think it's also important to give back to your community.
Yep. Well, thank you for doing that. Well, I'm glad you are where you are now. You are definitely in the heart of the wine country. Hope you enjoy that part.
We do, and it's also great for the food as well as the beverages too. There's no doubt.
You do live in a place that has amazing food. Whether you want sweets, Italian, California wine, Asian, it's all right there in Sonoma and around you as well. The drive to Santa Rosa or Napa.
That's right.
Mike, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. Before we go, is there anything you want to end with?
Prospective people, you're considering this, talk to Ron.
Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate that greatly, and we'll certainly make sure that they will.
Good. Well, I'm sure you will. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us. Really.
Mike, you're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be on this show today, and we'll definitely stay in touch with you.